In my previous speech, I had the pleasure to talk to you guys about the Stonewall Inn riots and the beginning of the gay rights equality, a colossal cultural movement that has been thriving for 50 years and has no intentions to stop for the fight for equal gay rights. When I think about Stonewall, I think about the bravery and strength it took to stand up against an oppressive system and the people who dedicated their lives for this cause. I think about the remarkable people of New York City in 1969 who have done extraordinary things. I think about Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. My final speech to you guys will be on these two civil rights pioneers who are not only activists but are mothers to our LGBTQI community. In 1969, Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera helped spark the iconic Stonewall riots in New York City and the beginning of the gay rights movement. In 1962, after Stonewall, Marsha and Sylvia would go on and find the first ever transgender rights organization called STAR and become beloved figures in Greenwich Village community. They also fought for SONDA, which was a Sexual Orientation Non-Discrimination Act in the 70s. And this act was to help prohibit sexual orientation discrimination in terms of job hiring, housing, and more. Sylvia once showed up to a gay rights center very upset. She broke a desk because she was frustrated and angry that homeless trans youth would be sleeping outside the center and they were not allowed inside the center. These two kept fighting for gay rights, trans rights, and street activism, helping out so many homeless youth, trying to get them off their feet and get them noticed by the government to start doing some work to help them out. Ultimately, they wanted transgender homeless youth to feel supported in a movement that didn't always show them the deserved attention. By 1973, the gay liberation movement was at its peak. On Christopher Day Liberation Day, thousands of people took the streets demanding for their rights. The rally was supposed to honor those who fought in Stonewall. Unfortunately, not everyone was welcome, even those who were there. Sylvia was scheduled to speak, but some leaders thought that her presence would be disruptive. Sylvia had to fight her way onto the stage, and when she finally had the mic, Sylvia offered a devastating read of the movement's failure to support trans women of color. Sylvia became disconnected with politics and left the city. While Marsha stayed in the city when the AIDS crisis hit in the 80s, she grew outraged over the government's indifference to the mounting death on LGBTQI folks. And then Marsha joined a ACT UP, an AIDS activist group that carried on an aggressive style of STAR. Suddenly, in the early 90s, a new transgender movement started and Sylvia came back durable. She revised STARS and organized rallies and actions. She spoke internationally, and she called out mainstream activists who left trans people, people of color, and homeless people in the dust. However, tragedy struck in 1992 when Marsha P. Johnson's body was found floating down the Hudson River. People describe Marsha having this fantastic charisma and beauty inside and out. When she was found in the Hudson River, things got challenging for the LGBTQI plus community because her death was seen as if she simply just jumped off the river and committed suicide, when a lot of people believed that Marsha was actually murdered. Still, people who knew Marsha fought against that, including Sylvia herself, saying that Marsha was not that kind of person and she would never do that. The police did little investigation of her death simply because they didn't care for her. To this day, her case seems to have some conflicted evidence from the last time Marsha was seen. Sylvia, though, kept on fighting as a right activist for gay rights, trans rights, and even poverty-stricken people, as well as ending discrimination for people of color. But on February 10th, 2002, Sylvia ended up dying from complications of liver cancer. She fought for trans rights from her hospital bed up until the very end. Sylvia and Marsha leave a legacy of courage, confrontation, and radical determination to fight for all people's freedom. They are the fierce mothers of our revolution, and for many years, their stories have gone untold. They are just two of many trans pioneers who lived and loved and died in this country. So what can we do? We could continue doing their work and spread love and compassion, and be aware of what's going on around us. And like I said, just be compassionate, because more than these two women not only devoted and lived and died for this cause, but other people can do the same other people who do not identify as part of the LGBT community, but at least identify as an ally to help. Not just this community, but other communities that are not privileged, white, rich, male. You could help so many people. So I encourage you, go out there, be kind, and help each other.